Evan here with a little seasonal refresher on 555 line of sight. It's no secret that dishes need clear, unobstructed line of sight to the satellites to deliver consistent, high-quality picture to customers. Now, the term line of sight can be a little misleading because it's not just a straight line. The dish needs to have clear visibility to the orbitals 5 degrees in all directions coming from the dish. So as a way to verify that we have ample line of sight, Dish came up with the 5-50-5 rule of thumb. Here's how it works. The dish should have 5 feet of clearance on both sides of the dish up to 50 feet away from the dish. That's what the first 5 and the 50 stand for. The second 5 in 5-50-5 represents the 5 degrees of clearance we should have after the first 50 feet. The closer an object is to the dish, the greater chance it has of causing an obstruction. That's why it's extra important to make sure that we have 5 feet of clearance on both sides of the dish up to that first 50 feet. This rule of thumb is a great way to accommodate future foliage growth. Anytime you mount a dish, using 5-50-5 will help prevent trouble calls and service calls triggered as a result of trees and bushes growing into the dish's line of sight. Later in the year, as leaves fall from the trees, think about the space that these trees will take up in full bloom when you determine where to place the dish. But even in the spring or any time of year, you should also consider the obstructions that nearby trees or bushes may cause in the coming years. Whether it's a service call 6 months from now or 5 years from now, think about how you can prevent an inconvenience to a customer by future-proofing the dish's line of sight with 5-50-5. Each prevented trouble call and service call due to line of sight is also a prevented truck roll to the customer's home where the technician will likely either have to repoint or move the dish entirely. Now, you're not always going to have a mountain with virtually no obstructions when you're mounting. The important part is to find an area with clear line of sight where foliage growth is the least likely. Here's an example. While the location here currently meets the 5-50-5 rule of thumb, these trees may grow into the dish's path in the coming years. So what I want to do is make sure that there's no better locations to place the dish. Now, if you're wondering how you can actually measure 5-50-5, keep in mind that it doesn't have to be exact. Know that the back of the van is roughly 5 feet wide, and that the length of 3 vans is about 50 feet. Now, you don't need to have 2 technicians come and help you drive 3 vans into the customer's backyard. Actually, you shouldn't do that. But just keep that in mind as a helpful visualization with an object you're familiar with. While QA measures line of sight as just 5 degrees from the dish, 5-50-5 goes above and beyond to make sure that future trouble calls and service calls from foliage growth are prevented. 5-50-5. That's 5 feet of clearance on either side of the dish up to 50 feet and 5 degrees beyond that.
Hey!